welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at a 1987 version of Sleeping Beauty. So this is in fact a musical. It is very, very low budget and it actually sticks pretty close to the French version, though they decided to add some sort of elf little person into this. So in this story, it literally starts off with them talking about making clothing. Bit of foreshadowing there, and spinning and spinning and spinning, and you have Heather Locklear, who is playing the queen, wishing for a child, and these weird little elf creatures that are actually played by little people give her a potion that helps her have a baby. So she ends up having a baby that she calls Rosebud. But then they have to invite everybody, and they have to invite all these fairies, but they only have a certain number of gold plates. Again, that is definitely part of the original tale, so they forget one. In case this is she's the red fairy. So everybody sings and dances and falls in love with the baby. Everybody's giving all the gifts. The fairies are getting the gifts. Then, of course, the red fairy shows off. She starts crashing and breaking plates and things, and she is pissed, and she curses the little girl on her 16th birthday. Mind you, the French version is kind of vague. It's whether 15 or 16. Pricks her finger on a spindle of a spinning wheel and dies. So then the white fairy shows up, and she's like, I can't erase the tale, but she's going to fall asleep instead for 100 years until a prince comes and wakes her up. Again, part of the original tale. So, as again, the original tale, father decides to get rid of all the spinning wheels. Everything is burned and dances around. Then we fast forward to the Princess Rosebud. She's now an adult. It does usually show what happens when you get rid of all the spinning wheels. You can't make thread, and you can't make fabric. So everybody's in rags because no new fabric is made for the last 16 years. And the princess says, it's like, can't we go in other countries and get it? And so she talks to her nurse, talks to her about that. They tell her parents. Her parents decide to leave town right around the time she's 16 to go get fabric from other countries. So they actually give a reason why on earth they're leaving town. So that fills in a plot hole, but I don't know if they actually do it on her birthday. But they're gone during her birthday, and she's kind of summoned down behind this door, looking around, and then she's summoned back that night. And of course, meanwhile, the queen asks her elf friend, please watch over my child. He falls asleep. And then she pricks her finger because she's summoned by of course, the evil fairy. And she pricks her finger on the spinning wheel, but of course this evil fairy shows up, and she falls asleep. And then, of course, he wakes up and goes rushing. It's like, oh, damn, now she's asleep. And then, of course, the soldiers show up, and she's asleep. It's like, what the heck do we do? So they take her to a bed. The elf goes to his mentor, and he's like, yeah, you need to go find the white fairy. Where the heck is she? It's like, take the 1,000-year book, she's over here. 1,000-year boots, she's over here. So he goes there, and she's like, nah, of course she pricked her finger. Of course she fell asleep. It's fate. It's like, can't you do anything? It's like, no, she can't be woken up for 100 years. It's like, but she'll be lonely. Everybody will be asleep. Or everybody will be dead by the time she wakes up. Can't you do anything? She's like, possibly. She gives him something to drink and then proceeds to leave. And then he, of course, I think it transports him back to where he's supposed to be. She shows up, the king and queen are there. She's like, you did everything you could, and now I'm going to put everybody to sleep for 100 years. So she puts everybody to sleep except for the elf. He's like, I need to guard them. It's like, okay, don't put me to sleep. She's like, fine, that's on you. And then she awakes a spinning wheel to spin vines all around. 100 years pass, a prince and some men come by, they see a whole bunch of dead bodies hanging around. It's like, we're not going in there. And then they leave, and then he turns around and decides to go back after talking, of course, to our elf friend. And everything opens up, and all the roses and stuff back away, No Name Me Dead Bodies thinks there's a Brothers Grimm, not the French tale. But he enters the palace. He wakes the princess. It's been 100 years. Everybody wakes up and they get married and live happily ever after. So this is cute. Again, it's extremely low budget. It's very, very 80s. There's lots of singing. I don't know why they include the elves, but you know, it gave some little people a job for a while. So, but it was very, very, it's cute and it's fun. It's about an hour and a half long. So I watched it on Prime Video. So if you're looking for a different version of Sleeping Beauty, I wouldn't be surprised if this was shown on television. And looking at very, very 80s, because that's what this is. And again, very low budget. But it's fun, it's cute, it's probably a good thing to put on for family. There's nothing really gruesome or anything out, and there's some decent music in it. So that is really it for this review. I think Maleficent is my last film. No, I can't, because I still have 2 weeks left of October. Well, nonetheless, we will be finishing up Sleeping Beauty. Oh no, I still have Maleficent and I have the ballet. So, which I will be seeing with my child. Hopefully she'll be quiet. Okay, so if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.